Okay, just ask parents if they can get a seat. We have parents seated in the red chair area. We should have enough space, enough seats for everyone. But those people looking for a seat at the back, I'd just ask a couple of boys in white shirts. You could just go to the back of the parent area, please, and take out some chairs. That'd be great. Okay. Good evening and welcome to the 2018 St Brendan's Sports Awards. Usually we'd be having this particular ceremony in our chapel performing arts area, but currently that facility is under refurbishment. So just a big thank you to start off with to the technical production crew here at the college. They've been working overtime. As those people who work in education know, term 4 is the awards ceremony time, and we've certainly been rolling through those. I think next week we finally finish things off with our valedictory. So first of all, I'd just like to acknowledge and thank the technical production crew here at the college who have, as I say before, been working overtime to ensure we're able to run these events. So can we please give them a round of applause? Before I start, I would like to acknowledge the Darumbal people, the traditional owners of this land. I would also like to pay respect to elders past, present and emerging of the Darumbal people and extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples present here today. As I said before, my name is Mr Matthew Cooper. I'm the AP Senior School here at the college, and I've been given the task to introduce this year's awards ceremony. In 1940, when the first boy walked through the gates of St Brendan's, he's actually a long-lost relative of Ben Hunt. He was the first boy to walk through the gates. The Christian Brothers have always held a bit of a motto that an active boy is a happy boy. And if you look at the history of Christian Brothers schools throughout the country, you'll find that they not only enjoy, but over periods of time have excelled in the area of sport. And we at St Brendan's try to, as best we can, live out that legacy as an Edmund Rice school. The sporting year started with a game of futsal with our Year 7 team. It would have been here in the sports hall, playing against another school from Rockhampton. It'll end in a few weeks' time when our senior water polo team take to the pool. And that season, I believe, carries over into term 1 of next year. Is that right, Mrs Doherty? Okay, so it's been a very long year. In between that, we've seen boys play rugby sevens, we've seen boys play rugby league, cricket, AFL, a whole range of sports, athletics, swimming, and the list goes on. St Brendan's boys along the way have done us proud in their individual pursuits. Of boys have represented Queensland in golf, they've represented Australia in weightlifting, and the list goes on, as well as martial arts. So it's been a very busy year for those boys involved in sport here at the college. I'd now like to hand you over and also acknowledge the fantastic work that our Director of Sport does, Mr. Dallas Williams, who will be our Master of Ceremony for this evening. Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Good evening, staff, students, family members and special guests. Tonight's Sports Awards is the culmination of another tremendous and action-packed year of sport here at St Brendan's College. It is also an opportunity to recognise and reward the students for their fantastic achievements. For this to occur, it takes a ton of commitment and dedication, not only from you as athletes, but also our coaching staff and the very people here today, your number one supporters, your family. Sport plays an integral part in the development of young men, and here at St Brendan's College, we aim to provide students with every possible opportunity to participate in a wide variety of sporting options. Sport develops characteristics that we're able to transfer to everyday life. Attributes such as time management, work ethic, leadership, and teamwork are just some of the key traits that not only sporting coaches look for, but also employers in today's workforce. St Brendan's College is extremely fortunate that we're able to participate in the Rockhampton District Secondary Schools competition. This competition provides students with a plethora of opportunities to participate in sport all year round in an organised format. The many sports on offer include basketball, football, futsal, shooting, rugby league, rodeo, life-saving, touch football, cricket, volleyball, surfing, rugby union, water polo and rugby sevens. Throughout 2018, we also provided quite a number of opportunities for students to travel outside of the region, with teams such as the Aaron Payne Cup and Cowboys Challenge sides travelling to Brisbane, Mackay, Bundaberg and Townsville. The first 13 travelling to Charters Tower to participate in the Confraternity Shield. Junior T20 cricket playing in Townsville. Rugby Sevens playing in the Western Sevens Emerald. All Schools Oztag on the Sunshine Coast. Junior AFL playing the Suns Cup in Townsville. And the All Schools touch football teams also making their way down to Whites Hill, Brisbane. These tours provide the young men here at St Brendan's College with experiences that will last a lifetime, as the bonds and the memories created play a big part in the brotherhood and mateship that this special place is renowned for. Whether they win, lose or draw, the boys are learning how to deal with the ups and downs that life throws at us at a daily basis, while also instilling the values of humility, respect and gratefulness for the opportunities that they're being given on and off the playing fields. This year was another successful year, with quite a number of teams playing to their potential and getting some fantastic results along the way. This year saw the following: overall boys champion for Rockingham District Athletics, Rockingham District Swimming Age champions in the under 14 and under 16s, winners at Rockingham District under 15 Rugby Union, runner-up Rockingham District under 13 and first 15 Rugby Union, winners Rockingham District Senior Water Polo, winners 7B, 10B and 10A Rugby League, runners-up 8A, 9A, 10C, first 13 Rugby League, Aaron Payne Cup and Cowboys Challenge semi-finalists, Bob Lindner Trophy Confraternity Shield winners, winners the Rocky District Junior AFL, runners-up Senior AFL, winners Rockingham District Junior T20 Cricket, semi-finals Queensland All Schools Oztag, semi-finals, runners-up under 12 and under 18 Western Sevens, winners under 16 under 18 CQ Sevens, and the winners of the under 16 Western Sevens. I would like to once again make a special mention to the following students who have excelled in their chosen sports throughout the year. Michael Rediex for making the Queensland under 15 Oztag team, Bodie Davis, Queensland boxing team, Levi Davis, Queensland karate team, Isaac Dooley, Queensland karate team, Isaac Jensen, Queensland under 12 golf team, Blake Lardy, QAS under 16 rugby league team, Jackson Gray and Logan Beek, Australian rodeo team, and Colby Green, Australian junior weightlifting team. Can we please put our hands together for these fantastic achievements? And lastly, as I mentioned earlier, these sporting opportunities would not exist without the support of parents, coaches and volunteers that give up their mornings and afternoons to help in assisting to further develop students here at St Brendan's College. I'd like to thank the following people: Mr Aaron Cooper, Mr Adam Diefenbach, Mr Ben Larson, Mr Bill Tynan, Mr Bill Collins, Mr Bill Oram, Mr Blake Henley, Mr Brennan Scoothorpe, Mr Cameron Watson, Mr Connor Broadhurst, Mr Eamon O'Hanlon, Miss Fiona Johnson, Mr Frank Rolls, Mr Glenn Waratini, Mr Grant Broadhurst, Miss Jackie Russell, Mr Jacob Rolini, Mr Jonathan Gill, Miss Karen Doherty, Mr Luke O'Brien, Mr Matt Cooper, Mr Max Martin, Mr Michael Jensen, Mr Nathan Sanderlance, Mr Paul Horan, Mr Paul Miller, Mr Paul Minto, Mr Paulo Picotto, Mr Peter Bartlett, Mr Peter Hayes, Mr Peter Reddy, Mr Richard Tucker, Miss Roanne Waratini, Mr Rudd Choice, Mr Sam Holzheimer, Mr Shane Pearce, Miss Sharon McGrath, Mr Terry Hanson, Miss Tiffany King, Mr Trent Flynn, Mr Trevor Ganane, Mr Troy Welsh, and Mr Ben Larson. Can we please once again put our hands together for these outstanding coaches? Thanks once again for your support in 2018. I'm extremely excited about the prospects in 2019. Please enjoy this short video.
Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars, but I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a time, but I always had a vision, always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living, didn't know I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Mama said, something for oddities, stranger kisses. Ain't ever wannabes, winning the novelties. Don't ever change, we wanted everything, wanted everything. Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Oh, stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see
Can I now ask the following students to come on stage to receive their sporting awards? And also Head of Junior School, Mr. Jonathan Gill, to present the awards. Best back, 7A Rugby League. In Capricornia, representative for Rugby League 11 to 12 years, Banjo Walker. Coaches Award for Under 13 Touch Football. Capricornia, representative for Touch Football in 10 to 12 years, Cooper Broadhurst. Capricornia representative, golf 10 to 18 years, Cruz Warner. Cruz can't be here today. Our best forward, 7B Rugby League, Dustin Feldman. Best forward, 7C Rugby League, Harrison Paklepa. Capricornia representative in golf 10 to 12 years, and Queensland representative in golf 10 to 12 years, Isaac Jensen. Now, Isaac's currently in Geelong at the moment competing with the Queensland 10 to 12 years team, and he's also the captain. So well done, Isaac. Best forward, 7A Rugby League, Kieran Little. Capricornia representative in Rugby League 11 to 12 years, and best back, 7A Rugby League, Levi Sanderlands. Most valuable player, 7A Rugby League. Most valuable player under 13 Rugby Union, Malik Alasala. Most valuable player, 7C Rugby League, Patrick Slade. Most valuable player, 7B Rugby League, Petheru Toby. Most valuable player, Junior Green Futsal, Samuel Bent. And best back, 7C Rugby League, Thomas Gleeson. Can we all put our hands together for the Year 7s? Smile, boys. Well done, fellas. Year 8 Sports Awards. Most Valuable Player, 8B Rugby League, Aston Fortier. Under 15 soccer, most improved, Bodie Smith. Bodie, boy. Didn't know. Cattle Club, Parader of the Year, Bryce Vole. Best back, 8B Rugby League, Caleb Gadsby. Most valuable player, Junior B Basketball, Daniel Moore. Daniel's not here. Did Gideon come? No, Gideon's not here. Most valuable player, 8C Rugby League, Jack Lloyd. Most valuable player, under 13 touch football, and best back for 8A Rugby League, Jeremy Green. Best forward, 8A Rugby League, Jet Mannion. Capricornia representative in cricket, under 15 years, Joshua Walsh. Capricornia representative in swimming, 13 to 19 years, Kai Pambird. Shotgun Encouragement Award for shooting, Kaiden Ajasaka. Is Kaiden here? Yep. Most valuable player, 8A Rugby League, Lachlan Sweeney. Best back, 8C Rugby League, Mark Hode. Rifle Encouragement Award for shooting, Ryan Selwood. Best forward, 8C Rugby League, and most valuable player for Junior Gold Futsal, Samuel Norris. Can you please join with me in another round of applause for our Year 8s? Well done, boys. Thank you. All right, moving on to our Year 9 Sports Awards. Overall Rifle Champion for shooting, Amos Korotkov. Most valuable player for Junior A Basketball and best back for 9B Rugby League, Boringai Young. He's not here. Most valuable player for 9C Rugby League, Campbell Murray. Best forward, 9B Rugby League, Connor Champion. Most valuable player for Junior AFL, Ethan Bird. Best forward, 9C Rugby League, Freddie Acoom. Freddie. Most valuable player, 9A Rugby League. And most valuable player for under 15 Rugby Union, Harrison Gray. Most valuable player, 9D Rugby League, Herbert Moses. Capricornia representative for swimming, 13 to 19 years, and Capricornia representative for water polo, 13 to 17 years, Jesse Laverty. Best forward, 9A Rugby League, Keelan O'Brien. Coaches Award, under 15 touch football, Kendrick Treadwell. Capricornia representative for triathlon, 13 to 19 years, Lachlan Tompkins. Most valuable player for junior water polo, Capricornia representative, triathlon, 13 to 19 years, Capricornia representative for water polo, 13 to 17 years, Lincoln Johnson. Best forward, 9D Rugby League, Logan Gardner. Best back, 9D Rugby League, Luke Steele. Best bowler, junior cricket, and Capricornia representative in AFL, 13 to 15 years, Mitchell Tucker. Capricornia representative in cricket, 13 to 14 years, Ryan Walsh. And most valuable player, 9B Rugby League, Will Larson. Can we please put our hands together for the Year 9s? Can I please ask Mr. Matt Cooper to please come up and present the senior awards. Year 10. Coaches Award for Opens Touch Football, and Capricornia representative in surfing for 13 to 18 years, Baxter Gardner. Best forward, 10C Rugby League, Connor McKitterick. Most valuable player, under 15 soccer, Bodie Smith. I didn't think you were coming, Bodie. Boys all told me he wasn't coming today. That's all right. Most valuable player, under 15 Cowboys Challenge, and best forward, 10A Rugby League, Grady Callaghan. Most valuable player, senior basketball, Harrison Keeney. Shotgun, second place, shooting, Henry Burden. Best forward, under 15 Cowboys Challenge, and Capricornia representative in 14 to 15 years Rugby League, Isaac Jackson. Best back, 10C Rugby League, Jacob Lothian Morgan. Most valuable player, 10C Rugby League, Lachlan Frankish. Capricornia representative, water polo, 13 to 17 years, Liam Doherty. Best forward, 10B Rugby League, Max Goody. Most valuable player for under 15 touch football, and Queensland representative for Oztag All Schools, Michael Reddy-X. Capricornia representative, Rugby League, 14 to 15 years, Mitchell Bidoff. Most valuable player, 10A Rugby League, Shannon Gray. Best back, 10B Rugby League, and Capricornia representative in surfing, 13 to 18 years, Tane Cooper. Most valuable player, senior green futsal, and Capricornia representative in surfing, 13 to 18 years, Toby Messer. Capricornia representative in AFL, 13 to 15 years, Tom Stevenson. Overall shotgun champion in shooting and rifle second place for shooting, Travis Oates. Trav. How about putting our hands together for the Year 10s? Come on, Michael. Year 11 Sports Awards. Best Back, Open Thirds Rugby League, Blaine Saltner. Most Improved for the Open First Rugby League, Chase Demain Beale. Best Back, Open Thirds Rugby League, Dion O'Chin. Coaches Award, Open Seconds Rugby League, Jack Tibbs. Capricornia representative, golf, 10 to 18 years, Jake Swaffield. Capricornia representative, triathlon, 13 to 19 years, Jordan Wall. Australian representative in weightlifting, Colby Green. Bull Rider of the Year for rodeo and Australian representative for rodeo, Logan Beek. Pistol champion for shooting, Luke Selwood. Capricornia representative in track and field for 13 to 19 years, Nathan Ray. Best forward, Open First Rugby League, Sam Strofeld. Can we please put our hands together for the Year 11 boys? Well done, boys. Year 12 Sports Awards. Senior Steer Rider of the Year for Rodeo, Brock Ivey. Best forward, Open Thirds Rugby League, Dean Durante. Most valuable player, Open Soccer, Eamon O'Hanlon. Coaches Award, Open First Rugby League, Henry Dendell. All-round cowboy rodeo and Australian representative for rodeo, Jackson Gray. Most improved cowboy for rodeo, Jacob Pruitt. Capricornia representative for Rugby League 16 to 18 years, and most valuable player for Open First Rugby League, James Busby. Best back, Open First Rugby League, and Capricornia representative, Rugby League 16 to 18 years, Jeremiah Nawi. Best back, Open Seconds Rugby League, Joe Howard. Best forward, Open Seconds Rugby League, Oliver Peoples. Most valuable player, senior water polo, Capricornia representative in swimming 13 to 19 years, and Capricornia representative for water polo 13 to 17 years, Patrick Doherty. And most valuable player, senior AFL, Xanis Stevenson. Can we please have a final round of applause for our Year 12s? I'd like to now ask Mr. Cooper and our special guest, Mr. Harry Grant, to please come up on stage.
It's always a pleasure to get our old boys back here to talk on our award ceremonies. Now, Harry's a recent old boy. I think when Harry was in grade 12, he represented the college in rugby sevens, rugby league, athletics, cross country. He was the cross country age champion. He went to a state trialist in surfing, probably one of the only boys from Capricorn to get through to a finals in that particular event. But he was also a Queensland representative in rugby league. But he's a great example of a kid who's also overcome a few difficulties along the way in order to get to where he is today. And I think there weren't too many people in Yeppoon who were really proud of Harry that day. I think it was mid-year when he made his debut against the Manly Sea Eagles. So we've got a few questions for Harry today. He's going to do a Q&A for us. So, Harry, I guess first of all, I'd just like to ask that feeling you had when you ran out onto the field this year to make your debut against the Manly Sea Eagles. What was that like?
Yeah, it was.
I'll be able to turn it off here, mate. Yeah, sorry. Try that, mate. Yep.
Yeah, no, making my debut was pretty special. I think that's what a lot of us sports people want to do, is go out and achieve our dreams. And for me, I got to achieve my dream, and it was a lot sooner than expected. I'd only moved in to the first grade squad that season, and I had a goal to make that debut, but never thought I'd get there that soon. And yeah, it was a day that I'll never forget, and yeah, something very special.
Harry, I guess what's probably not known is what an average week for you would be like. I mean, I guess there'll be a lot of boys here who see you make that debut and think that's unreal, but the reality is there's a fair bit of travelling, because I think at some stage during the year I noticed I'd also see you running around playing footy for the sunny coast as well. So can you just describe for the people here today what an average week would be like for Harry Grant in the middle of a season?
Yeah, middle of the season's pretty good up until the weekend when you got to travel. Pre-season's the hardest. What we're going into now, it's pretty full on. But yeah, during the year they take it pretty easy during the week. The training's intense, but you get a lot of time in between the training and in between your meetings and gym and that. But yeah, so playing with the feeder club Falcons, the Melbourne Storm don't have any rugby league ties down in Melbourne, so all us feeder boys have to travel to Queensland every weekend, and it's a 2-hour flight there, and sometimes we have to fly from Brizzy to Townsville, so it's another 2-hour flight, so it's a lot of travel, and then you got to turn around and come back. But usually we fly up on the Friday, and we might do a captain's run on the Friday night and play Saturday, and then fly back to Melbourne on Saturday night. So it's pretty intense with the way that it's set up. It's pretty short and sharp. Get in, play your footy, and they expect you to play some top of the range footy, and then you got to turn around and fly back. So it does get pretty intense, but it's all worth it when you get to make your special moments like my debut.
Probably what's not known to some people here, but in your early teenage years, you had to overcome some pretty serious setbacks. Tell us a little bit about those setbacks and some of the lessons you learned along the way.
Yeah, so when I was end of grade 7, 12, which would have been primary school back then, I had staph infection in my shoulder, and I had to get bone cut out, and I was just as I was going into high school, and that's all I was looking forward to was coming to Brennan's. I had my 3 older brothers that were at the school or had gone through the school, and all I looked forward to was coming to Brennan's and playing sport, much as come here for an education, but I look forward to the sport mainly. I wanted to play footy, and I wanted to play footy for Brendan's. So. And then to have that little injury, I had staph infection, and it got pretty scary there for a bit. And I had to have bone cut out, and doctor told me no contact sport for a whole year, and I was pretty shattered. But in saying that, I found a love for surfing then, and that really gave me a way out. My parents were very strong through that. They really taught me mental toughness and resilience, and just doing my rehab, staying strong to that. And I always wanted to play footy, but on the weekends I was looking forward to going for a surf because I had another little passion outside of footy. And then the following year I broke my leg, so I come back, probably had one or two games of footy for the Seagulls, and I was a bit rusty, but come back, and then I was doing lifesaving, which was one of the other passions that I took up because I couldn't play footy. I had to find something else to do on the weekends, so I was on patrol, and we flipped the buggy, not being reckless or anything, just flipped it, just an accident, and it landed on my leg and compound fracture of my right leg, and so another year out, and that one really tested me because I'd only had one or two games in 2.5 years of living, and I had 1 or 2 games of footy, which is what I wanted to do. So I really then found out mental toughness, resilience, and that's where I really found you got to do your rehab, you got to stay true, and if you got a goal. If you got a goal, you got to achieve that you want to achieve. You just got to stay on the right track and do the right thing to get there.
Yeah, so I guess you came and you did follow a lot of brothers into Brendan's, but it wasn't until grade 10 you got to play your first game of footy or your proper first season at the school, and you didn't want to miss the first part of that season, I think.
Yeah, I missed the first half even then, so sort of come in towards the back end, sort of missed the club footy and then come back for the school footy, and got the good part of the year.
I guess in your experience with the Melbourne Storm, you got to train with some of the best players that have ever played the game. Cameron Smith, Billy Slater. What lessons have you learnt from being around those type of professional athletes?
Yeah, it's pretty special being around them. I still in a bit of awe of them. I don't really take it all in as much as I should probably, but the biggest thing I get from them is they're the two best players in the game, and they're always trying to improve. Like Bill watches the most video footage of anyone at the club, and that was in his final season. He's hanging the boots up and he's still watching the most. Goes back and watches every training session, watches every game, picks out parts of the game for other players. So, and he's pretty special the way he carries himself around the club and what he does for us younger boys. And same with Smithy, he's always the last off the field. He's always out there. He picks something that he wants to work on, and I think for this year his main work on, he doesn't have many work-ons, but his main work on was his goal kicking. So he's always the last one off the field kicking goals, where everyone's out there, everyone's back in having shower, having dinner, and he's still out there kicking goals. So it's pretty special when you got to look up to players like that who are just always trying to improve, and they just want success, really, just want success for the club and the organisation. So, yeah.
That leads into the next question. It's well known in Australian sport. The Melbourne Storm, as well as known for their success, they're known as an organisation that has exceptionally strong culture through all aspects of the club, not just the on-field performance. You've been exposed to that organisation now. What do you believe is the key ingredient in that culture?
Oh, I think one of the big things through the culture is those who drive it from the top. You got Craig and Frank Panisi, who's a football manager, and then you got Cameron and Billy, who have been there so long and built the club up. They're so passionate about it that they don't, want anyone putting a foot wrong because it's going to affect what they've pretty well created. But I think another big thing is that all of us boys in Melbourne have all moved there, and we don't have many, we don't have family down there, we don't have mates. So we stick together, and your mates on the footy field, and you go home and you go to training together, and then you go home and you go and do stuff together. You don't have many mates outside of that in Melbourne, outside of the footy, so you stay really strong there. But also the respect that you have for each other, for the football staff, and also for the membership staff, because they're in the same boat. A lot of them have moved to Melbourne to work there, so it's pretty tight knit, the organisation. And yeah, they got a little saying down there. It's if it's important to one of us, it's important to all of us, and that pretty well sums it up, I think.
I guess on to you as a footy player, particularly here at the college. As a 17-year-old, you made the Queensland Secondary Schools team. The word at that particular stage from a lot of people was you're obviously a highly competitive and skillful player with natural game instincts. Melbourne to play, I think for a lot of people, play a highly structured style of footy. Just to give, I remember when I had you in the under-15 team, we had a pattern, and then Harry went down the blind side, did a chip and chase, and no one knew it was on. He got the ball back, passed it to someone, they scored under the posts.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that was my first game of hooker.
Yeah, okay.
That's probably another thing that I take out of my injuries is everything happens for a reason. I was playing half all my juniors up until 13, 14, and thought I was going to be a half, and then did my shoulder, did my leg, and then come back, and the school team didn't have a hooker, so I had to play hooker. And yeah, if I was playing half, I'd probably be playing down the Seagulls under 20s this year. So it's everything happens for a reason is a big thing that I took out of it.
What about that notion that Melbourne play a highly structured sort of style of footy? How did you go fitting into that system, or was that just a progression of being a Queensland rep?
Yeah, I think with footy, it's just I've always backed myself, and yeah, I had to fine tune a few things, but they've always told me if you're there because you back yourself, you play this way. We don't want to change the way you play. The coaches are pretty good with that. They do want to fine tune a few things, and you got to stick to a few structures. You got to be a bit smarter when the footy gets the higher the level goes. But for me, a big thing was all year the coaches have just said you're playing the footy you are because you're backing yourself. So just back yourself, and we'll talk about it after the game if it goes wrong.
Harry, it's well portrayed in the media, I guess, that Craig Bellamy is known as a pretty hard taskmaster who can dish out a fairly good spray. You've got to see it on TV in the commentary box. What's he really like in person?
Yeah, I've had one of them sprays, and it wasn't very good. And I haven't had one since. I was at the start of the year, so it's pretty good. But he's unreal. I think he's probably the most respected person in the whole club, and deservedly so. He's got a great relationship with the staff and the players. He tells them how it is, but he's also got that. He's not all serious. He's real funny, and he's got a side of him that can just open up to the boys and just get along with everyone. But I think the big thing with Craig is he's an extremely hard worker himself. First thing you do in the morning is to get into the lockers. You sort of walk through the gym. And the first person you see in the gym normally is Craig working before training, and every day is pretty well he's in there. And he doesn't really expect you to do anything that he wouldn't do. We did an army camp in pre-season, and we were away for 2.5 days. Didn't have any sleep on the whole 2.5 days, but he was up with us. He was watching, taking notes. Come back to the stadium afterward to have a little assessment, and he was reading out the notes he took on all of us. So, if he's there putting in that effort, you're going to put in effort for him.
Look, I guess you might have already answered this question a little bit, but with young athletes these days who are focused on their sport, we know that comes with a lot of pressure. What do you do to get away from footy?
Yeah, as I said, I like me surfing. Found a love for that when I was injured and when I had nothing else to do. So I do like going surfing, but it's a bit hard in Melbourne. There's a little bit of a drive to get some surf, but yeah, just going to the beach. I'm doing an electrical apprenticeship as well, so during the week I get one or 2 days work electrical, so that's good to take my mind off footy because you got to be on the job there, you got to be thinking. So yeah, it's just good to have something outside of footy to give yourself a little passion and just get away from it because it does get pretty full on.
Now, I guess you were almost born and raised in Yeppoon, Central Queensland lad through and through. I know your dad hails from Port Macquarie, but you know, when you moved down there as a country boy to the, I guess, the metropolis of Melbourne, what's the worst thing about living in Melbourne?
Oh, the weather and the traffic. Yeah, can't handle both of them. And the drive to the surf. It's a fair drive to get some surf, but yeah, the weather's bipolar and the traffic's just horrendous.
It's madness.
It's madness. Yeah, it can take you 20 minutes or it can take you an hour. So.
But how do you go on the coffee scene, Harry?
Skinny chai latte.
Oh, okay, there you go, eh?
Nah, it's good. It's a big food culture down there, but that's probably, you know, one thing that we all do is you want to do something, it's just go and get a feed, go and get a coffee. So, but everyone's in on it, so it's good.
Look, what I will say before we let Harry go, he's going to help us present our major award here today. I don't think there were too many people in Yeppoon who knew Harry or were students of St Brendan's who weren't really chuffed for you on that day when you made your debut, particularly those people that knew what you went through. I don't think Harry's doing justice what he went through in grade 7. Really tough times for the family. But to see you succeed, Harry, is great, mate, and we're really proud of you here, and I'm sure Mum and Dad, I know Mum and Dad would be. I've always said this about the Grant family. I remember when I met Harry, I had a meeting in there and I said, I've just met the second best footy player in the Grant family. And if you want to know who the best is, it's Margie, because I actually played a season of touch against Margie and she used to carve us to pieces.
That's where I got me flick passes from.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So just on behalf of everyone here at the college, Harry, we'd like to thank you for coming in tonight and sharing that story. And just for those people who don't know, Harry's been helping us with our morning training and doing a fantastic job pushing the boys. And he's a great example, and we certainly wish you all the best. So we can please give Harry a round of applause.
Thank you.
I'd now like to go through and present our special awards. So for our special awards, I'd just like to get, first of all, this award is the Athlete of the Year, and to help us present that award, I'd like to call forward a staff member and Harry Grant to come forward, and that is Brother Bill Tynan. Brother Bill Tynan is a fine example of someone who puts in a lot of time and effort, and he's had the boys out on the oval practicing and helping them with their athletic performance, and he's really made a big difference at our college. And before we announce the Athlete of the Year, I'd just like everyone to give a round of applause to Brother Bill Tynan. So if I could just get our two presenters just to make their way over to the trophy table, please. They might get over, having a chat at the moment. Yeah. Our Athlete of the Year. After winning the age champion at the Interhouse Athletics and recently representing Capricornia in athletics, and he's also been named as a shadow athlete for the state athletics team. Congratulations to Nathan Ray. Can we please give Nathan another round of applause? In 2018, the Swimmer of the Year was also the age champion, the open age champion at the Swimming Carnival. He represented Capricornia in the Queensland State Swimming Trials for swimming and water polo. Congratulations to Patrick Doherty. Can we please give one more round of applause to our Athlete and Swimmer of the Year? Okay, to our major awards, I'd now like to call forward Mr. Rob Corboy, the college principal, to help us present our major awards. The Junior Sportsman of the Year was a college representative in athletics, cross-country, AFL, rugby league, swimming, surf life saving and water polo. He was a Capricornia representative in triathlon and water polo. He was the swimming cross-country age champion as well as runner-up age champion for athletics. The Junior Sportsman of the Year is Lincoln Johnson. The Senior Sportsman of the Year was a representative of the college in rugby union, basketball, rugby league and athletics. He was also our senior athletics age champion, a Capricornia representative in athletics, and as already mentioned, a Queensland shadow athlete. Our Senior Sportsman of the Year is Nathan Ray. Can we please give our boys one more round of applause? Before we conclude, at the start of the ceremony, Mr. Williams read out all of the names of the staff that volunteer for the school. And without that effort, we wouldn't be able to run the program that we do. So, look, on behalf of the boys, to all those parents, those teachers, members of the community that give up their time and allow the boys to participate in a range of sports that they do, it's nothing short of remarkable. And people ask me what the greatest thing about the college is. Well, it's when we build community. And winning sporting events is great and being recognised as a representative is great, but it's through those efforts that we build community, and it's those things that will always, and into the future, will always make St Brendan's the place that it is. So I know there's a few of those people here today, but just the boys, I'll see how they're ready to go. But just on behalf of the students here at St Brendan's, we'd like to give the staff and volunteers who give of their time to take us to surfing, bull riding, rugby league, rugby union, futsal, soccer, 3 cheers. You ready, boys? Hip hip! Right. Hip hip! Right. Hip hip! Right. Also, special mention too must go to Mr. Williams and Miss Lisa Bendel for all the work they do behind the scenes. At times it's a very long and arduous job, but on behalf of the college, Dallas, we thank you very much. So can we please give the sports department a round of applause. That concludes our evening. Now, I know there's a few parents here who've got connections with Benedict's and they've got their Twilight market on tonight, so There's a few people that'll be heading off there. But thank you very much for joining us here tonight at the college, and wish you safe travels home. Thank you very much.